There was this old mustache named Feech Lamana. Now, what the hell Feech meant, who the fuck knows? But he was made on the other side, so, you know, he was an original.
He was an OG.
Whatever. He had this Saturday night card game, and your father sees this as our big chance to step up to the A-League. Connected or not, him, me, and Tony, we're gonna rob it.
In the Bible, the devil is depicted as a being who cannot force another individual to do evil. Rather, he can only tempt them. The devil doesn't force Eve to eat the forbidden fruit. Rather, he just tempts her. Ralph Cifaretto doesn't force Jackie Jr. to rob the card game. Rather, he just tempts him. Ralph is remembered by many Soprano fans as being one of the most heinous characters to appear on the show, with some even going as far as to label him the literal devil. And whilst I don't necessarily disagree with this take, today I want to focus more on the comparison between him and the show's protagonist, Tony Soprano, and make my case for Ralph Cifaretto being the more wicked version of an already wicked man. Now, before we delve into this video, the meaning of the word parallel, in the context of comparing television characters, needs to be defined, because otherwise it's going to be impossible for you all to understand the context of this video. Now, the word parallel is defined as the comparison between two characters who have faced similar moral dilemmas, but responded differently. For example, Ralph and Tony were both raised by abusive mothers, and because of this, Ralph turned out to be a sexual deviant and an abuser of women, whereas Tony turned out to be more empathetic and caring of them.
Well, do you want my advice? You already got one kid. Problems with that, burning them with cigarettes, whatever the fuck you were doing.
I got hope for that. I had a lot of repressed anger. The county social worker says it all goes back to my mom and holding my hand on the stove.
Whatever, okay? Your age, your situation, you need another kid like you need a fucking hole in the head. You're young, still got your figure, you're making money.
So you think I should get an abortion?
Believe me, but Ralphie is the father, you'll be doing this kid and the next 2 generations a favor.
The Sopranos gives many of its characters backstories in an attempt to help us understand why they are the way they are. We learn about the cruel relationship between Tony and Livia, which gives us a fair bit of insight into why Tony acts the way he acts. We learn about Christopher's admiration for his father, and how Dickie was a mentor to Tony, and therefore Tony a mentor to Chris. However, when it comes to Ralph Cifaretto, we're only given 2 small snippets of information regarding his childhood. We're told that his father was killed in a car accident when he was 6, forcing Ralphie to drop out of school as he had to take care of his dysfunctional family. And we're also told a little about the relationship Ralphie had with his mother, in which he describes her as an individual who had, and I quote, her demanding ways.
And tell that midget not to be shy with the whip.
If only his mother had taken that advice.
Now, many Soprano fans speculate online the type of abuse Ralph had received at the hands of his mother. Was he abused in a similar fashion to Tony, being under constant criticism and emotional manipulation? Was he abused physically, or was he even abused sexually? The answer is all of the above, and more. Joey Pants, the actor who played Ralph, came up with his own backstory for the character. He says, and I quote, "In my design of putting Ralph together, I always decided that he was sexually abused by his alcoholic mother's boyfriends, that he was addicted to watching The Godfather, and that he really wanted to be Michael Corleone. Also, in a scene cut from the show, Ralph confirms to Father Phil that he was in fact sexually abused as a child. Such was also implied by Melfi in one of her sessions with Tony. Just a little information for those still speculative on Ralph's upbringing." Now, why Ralphie's mother allowed this assuming she was merely nothing more than an unwilling spectator, which I don't believe for reasons I'll get into now, is up for speculation. However, if I had to guess, I would say that with the passing of Ralph's father, his mother was left with a fair few unfulfilled desires, and with Ralph now being the only male in the house, those desires, whether sexual or otherwise, were forced on him to fulfill. Yes, I am implying that Ralph was raped by his own mother, something that's heavily hinted at when Tony begins to question Ralph's sexuality and behaviour in the bedroom.
He sounds like a textbook masochist.
Like I said now.
The M part, yes.
I thought all that stuff was just like a run-up to the act.
That's the case for many people, but not for people with paraphilias. For them, receiving pain, being humiliated, becomes in and of itself the sexual release. Like many other things, we believe it's rooted in childhood.
Ralph claims in season 4 that he wanted to be an architect when he grew up, and that he wasn't happy with the fact that he had to drop out of school to help raise money for his family. He was a child with all the aspirations in the world, however was given very little opportunity to fulfill them. And this is why you see Ralph so resentful towards a character like Jackie Jr., as Jackie had all the opportunities Ralph didn't. However, instead of taking advantage of such, he chooses a life of crime, something Ralph just can't seem to fathom.
I need a favor.
What?
I need a piece. I mean, I don't need one, but, you know.
Anything you want to tell me?
No, it's just I think it's time you know.
What are you looking to get?
Now, if all that I've just said is true, then why in the scene that I've just shown, does Ralph not scold Jackie for wanting to be a part of the mob life? Well, it's simple. Ralph overcompensates. Let me explain. Throughout the show, you'll often see Ralph acting very over the top, far more confident or violent in situations that don't warrant such. Take for example the time at the club where he takes out the eye of a bouncer for no reason. He does such because he's afraid of being viewed by the other mobsters as less than a man. Therefore he overcompensates to make himself look like something he's not, when in reality he's more than likely the total opposite. Hence why when you see him around people like Roe, he's far more laid back than when around other mobsters, more than likely entailing that he doesn't feel as if he needs to put up some sort of a front here. However, Jackie Jr. isn't his mother, so Ralph doesn't approach this issue in the same truthful way that a man like Tony might. He doesn't tell Jackie how he really feels, rather just overcompensates once more to make himself look like the dangerous man Jackie Jr. assumes him to be. Tony on the other hand doesn't do this, as a truly dangerous man doesn't need to pretend to be something he already is. So he tells Jackie how he really feels, in the hopes that he'll take advantage of all the opportunities Ralph never had.
Listen, I think you're a good kid. You show respect at my house, and you come from a good family.
Thanks.
As far as my daughter goes, you know I only want the best for her. I'm gonna be very protective over her. You can understand that, right?
Of course.
So if you want to spend time with her, I want the best from you. If you're in school, you gotta give it everything you got.
Yeah, right. I know it.
Shut up. Listen to me. I know I've been saying this to you all along, but now it's different.
The card game robbery is one of the most influential moments in the entirety of The Sopranos, and it all kicked off with Ralph telling Jackie Jr. about a heist he and Jackie's father pulled off when they were younger. Now, why Ralph decided to tell Jackie this story is up for debate. Was he showing off to Jackie and his friend? Overcompensating once more and trying to make himself out to be something he's not? Did he want Jackie to rob a card game of his own, in the hopes he would gain some form of notoriety? Or did he know that Jackie would be stupid enough to take him at his word and fuck it up, eventually getting himself killed? In my eyes, I don't believe there was any malicious intent in sharing that story. Jackie Jr. was just an incredibly stupid individual, who failed to understand the point that Ralph was trying to convey, which is that if you want to make a name for yourself in this world, you gotta figure it out yourself. Be bold, take action, plan something out and execute it properly with confidence, and even if that doesn't work, Similarly to Ralph, you can always hope to be made later down the line. Either that, or he was just embellishing once more to make himself seem larger than life to Jackie Jr. Ralph was evil, but he wasn't stupid. Jackie robbing that card game couldn't have possibly benefited him in any way, shape or form.
Janutsky! Janice! This is it, hon. This is the last of this stuff I had at Rose. Benito.
Your shoes.
What?
Didn't I ask you to take your shoes off when you came in this house?
Forgot. Sorry, hon.
You forgot. So that's just it. You fucking forgot!
Oh, fuck. Oh.
Get out! Get out!
Throughout the course of the show, both Ralph and Tony seem to subconsciously gravitate towards toxic women. Tony towards any woman who could be considered mentally insane, and Ralph towards women with either dominant or abusive traits, all seemingly linking back to their own mother's cruelty. In the case of Ralph, he dated Janice, who is both. However, nobody seemed to fit this pattern better than Tracy, a stripper who was abusing her own child, similarly to how Ralph's mother abused him. Now, whether or not Tracy being an abusive mother is the thing that attracted Ralph is up for debate. However, he kills her not long after she puts an end to her bad behaviour, heavily implying such to actually be true. And as soon as those wicked tendencies were gone, she was gone too.
Are you out of your fucking mind? That's right. That's right. Get it all out. Get it all out, you little hooah.
It make you feel good? You feel like a man?
Ralph and Tony both had their issues when it came to women, and they both had their reasons for having such issues. In my eyes, Ralph was just a level above, however, and it makes sense seeing as though his childhood was seemingly a level worse than Tony's. Where Tony was struck, Ralph was raped. Where Tony might hit a woman, Ralph will kill her. Where Tony might comfort a woman, Ralph will simply just leave and go stay with his Gumar.
Let's be realistic.
Let's be realistic. What, you want to leave me?
Yeah.
Then get the fuck out.
In my opinion, Ralph Cifaretto is a more wicked version of Tony Soprano. He's Tony without all that makes him a likeable character. His care inside for all things innocent, his ability to forgive, his love for his family, and most importantly, his hair. However, Ralph had one thing that Tony didn't, which is that throughout all of his pain and suffering, his cruelty toward others, Ralph was still able to change. He was able to see the error of his ways, and truly wanted to atone for his sins, something that Tony just couldn't seem to stick with. Now, before I close out this video, I just want to make it clear that I am not in any way excusing or trying to justify this character's actions. Ralph was undoubtedly a sick man, one of the wickedest to appear on the show, and him wanting to change isn't a reason to forgive him for all of the evil that he's done. However, The Sopranos is a show that tries to teach us, among many other things, that we as humans aren't entirely accountable for the way we turn out, and that there are factors outside of our own free will that can cause us to behave differently than we'd like. Anyway, I just want to thank you all so much for watching this video. The reason it took so long to upload is because I did originally plan on posting a video about Dexter. However, this just seemed to be a more interesting video, honestly, and it would be in line with what's been working on my channel, such as the videos on Snoop and Chris. So let me know down in the comments what characters you want to see analysed next, and try go for those that aren't already out there, like the niche characters who are difficult to analyse, as we aren't given something as simple as a flashback to explain why they are the way they are. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace!